Well, as the evening moves forward, our next discussion is on powerful women by a few powerful women, and they're going to talk about what it takes to make a mark, what it takes to be successful. I once asked a very successful woman to share her secret with me, and she smiled. And she said, I started succeeding when I realized the fight was not outside, but inside me. I believe a woman's biggest enemy is her inner voice, but a woman's best friend is also her inner voice. And the voice we feed is the voice that wins. But ultimately, I think there is nothing more powerful than a woman who's determined to rise. And I'd like to call on stage a few determined women to talk about their journeys and what they feel it takes to make a mark. And first, I'd like to call on stage the moderator for this discussion, Ms. Sairi Chahal, the founder and CEO of Sheroes, a community platform for women offering support, resources, opportunities, and interactions via sheroes.com and the Sheroes app. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the moderator for this discussion, Sairi Chahal. Joining her in this discussion are Parvati Thiruvottu, actor, core member, Women in Cinema Collective; Ms. Divya Spandana, actor and politician, former member of Parliament and chairperson, Social Media and Digital Communications Congress; Atishi, who is the leader of the Aam Aadmi Party; Ms. Ranjit Ranjan, an Indian politician and member of the 16th Lok Sabha. She's a member of Parliament from Supaul, Bihar, from the Indian National Congress Party; and Ms. Vani Tripathi, an Indian actor and former National Secretary of BJP. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you this power-packed panel, and I hand over to Sairi to take this forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. This turning out to be a very, very inspiring evening. Thank you, everyone. The event's called Outlook Speak Out, and I can't help but think of Faiz Sahab, in which he says, "Bol ke lab azad hain tere." And I think I want to begin this discussion by asking each one of you's had a rock solid career, rock solid work that you have put out there, but there was a beginning somewhere. I want to begin by asking you, Atishi, where did you find your voice? Where does it come from, and what is your source of strength?
I think it's been very inspiring to hear a lot of the people who have come before me, and especially the story of the Chancellor of Houston, who came such a long way. And I think that if I was to look at myself, I've been very fortunate. I think I come from a very privileged family. I come from a family where me and my sister, I think that we had the privilege, I think we had more privilege than maybe a lot of boys who grew up in Delhi at the time. I think we had parents who really empowered us, parents who believed in the power of education. And so I think that is where I find my inspiration from. And on an everyday basis, when I live in Delhi, when I worked in different parts of the country, I think with every passing day, I'm more and more aware of the kind of privilege that I've had. Because in this city, we don't have to go very far. We probably just a stone's throw away, you'll find girls who don't have toilets in their homes. You'll find mothers who have to walk a kilometer to fill a small plastic bucket of water from where they are going to provide water to the whole family. So I think that all of us probably who are sitting in this room are coming from a place of great privilege. And only if we recognize that privilege would we be able to make a difference in the world.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Beautifully shared. Ranjit ji, you come from a very, you're one of your kind in your own village. पॉलिटिक्स में है, बिहार में है, बहुत ही पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी में आपने अपना मार्ग बनाया. आपकी पहली प्रेरणा कहाँ से आई जब आपने शुरू किया?
तो मैं बहुत मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से, मेरे पापा आर्मी बैकग्राउंड में थे, हम लोग 6 बहनें 2 भाई हैं. पर शुरू से फैमिली का बैकग्राउंड ऐसा था कि कभी भी हमें ये फील नहीं हुआ कि मैं लड़की हूँ, मेरा भाई लड़का है. और पापा बहुत बोल्ड थे, मदर बहुत बोल्ड थी. और शादी से पहले और शादी के बाद मेरा बिल्कुल ट्रैक चेंज हो गया. आई वॉज स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन, लॉन टेनिस खेलती थी, ATP खेला, नेशनल खेला, और सपना था कि ग्रैंड स्लैम जीतना. मिरर के सामने हेडबैंड वगैरह लगा के ऐसे शॉट मारूंगी, ऐसे शॉट मारूंगी. सडनली मेरा लाइफ को एकदम से डेस्टिनी ने टर्न मारा और एक पॉलिटिशियन ने मुझे देख लिया. और मैं कह सकती हूँ कि ये हमारे घर का इतनी बोल्डनेस थी, और कभी भी ये फील नहीं हुआ. बिहार जैसी स्टेट में हम लोग रहते थे और मैं मिनी स्कर्ट और शॉर्ट पहन के साइकिल से लॉन टेनिस खेलने जाती थी. ये मैं इसलिए बता रही हूँ कि एक जो हम बार बार ये कहते हैं कि यार इन्वायरमेंट अच्छा नहीं है, बच्चियों को नहीं भेजो. आज मैंने अपनी डॉटर से पूछा, कुछ क्वेश्चन मिले थे कि आपके लिए व्हाट इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ पावर. तो मैंने कहा प्रकृति, मैंने कहा बेटा आप बताओ क्या. कहती मम्मा इट्स डिपेंड ऑन यू, तुम्हारा कॉन्फिडेंस, तुम्हारा विश्वास. और अगर वो पोस्ट पे कर रहे हैं कि यू मीन यू हैव अ मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और मिनिस्टर, तो तुम्हारी पोस्ट है तो तुम पे पावर है. कहती नहीं मम्मा, इफ़ यू हैव अ स्ट्रेंथ और अंदर से इंटरनली आप में स्ट्रेंथ है तो तुम पावरफुल हो. मैंने कहा अगर सामने वाला पावरफुल है और आप नहीं है, हाउ कैन यू हैंडल दैट. कहते मम्मी इफ़ यू आर पावरफुल वुमन और इंटरनली आप कॉन्फिडेंट हो तो पोस्ट एक जरिया है उस पावर को दूसरे को देने का. तो आई इंस्पायर विथ माई डॉटर ऑल्सो, और बहुत खुशी हुई कि शायद कुछ ऐसा दिया मैंने कि वो भी इंस्पायर हुई. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो चीज़ें थी. पॉलिटिक्स में आई, बिल्कुल चेंज हुआ. उससे पहले मैं सरदार फैमिली से हूँ, कश्मीर से हूँ, बिहार में आ गए हम लोग, और बिल्कुल पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो डिफरेंट था, कास्टिज्म थी. आफ्टर मैरिज आई रियलाइज कि वो इज़ बैकवर्ड क्लास, फॉरवर्ड क्लास, ये दलित है. पर उसमें मुझे लगता है कि मैं स्ट्रगल सिर्फ इसलिए कर पाई क्योंकि मुझे घर से बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग वाइब्रेशन या ऑरा ऐसा मिला था कि कभी मुझे ये फील नहीं हुआ कि मैं वीक हूँ. मैं साइकिल से जा रही हूँ, मोटरसाइकिल से जा रही हूँ, और कभी ऐसी फीलिंग नहीं आई. और एक स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन होने के नाते मुझे लगता है कि मैं उन चीज़ों को स्ट्रगल कर पाई.
बहुत सुंदर. किसी ने कहा कि पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों की उड़ान होती है. आपकी बात सुन के बिल्कुल ऐसा ही लगा. ब्यूटिफुल. थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग दैट. वानी, आप बताइए, व्हाट्स योर स्टोरी बीन लाइक?
Well, one thing I want to tell about Ranjit ji is that she actually comes to the parliament on a Harley Davidson.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
So, I mean, talking about power, we know where the power lies, right? Absolutely depends on us. Well, I grew up in Delhi, like Sushmita. Parents were academics. My mother was a poetess. Renu ji, you spoke about Mahadevi Verma. My mother did her PhD on Mahadevi Verma. She also was a family friend. And I think I grew up in an atmosphere which was academic. So maybe the sense of privilege that you were talking about was there, but I wanted to challenge myself. So I did everything that an academic's daughter doesn't do. Started doing theatre at 10, started singing songs, started singing in the rain, started working with children. I was a child myself at 15. And from Barry John to Ibrahim Al-Qazi, it was a very long journey. And then after this, landed up in Mumbai, did films, did television, continued to do theatre, and a theatre of the absurd, which is politics. So I think
Beautiful.
there is a lot and a lot and a lot of wheel within a wheel. Challenges, every opportunity is also a challenge, just the way we look at it. That is what matters. Absolutely. But Renu ji, to you, there is a line that Mahadevi Verma, it's an ode to Mahadevi Verma. And I think that is something I would want to share. And I think it's a story of every Indian woman. My mother wrote these lines for Mahadevi Verma. So I share this with you. जब भी मैं लेती हूँ नाम किसी फूल का, जब भी मैं लेती हूँ नाम किसी फूल का, बिंधी हुई उंगली का दर्द उभर आता है. I think it is these challenges which become opportunities, those hurts, those very painful moments that we go through, whether it is childbirth as a mother, whether it is growing up as a woman, you know, in various parts of the country. It is that pain which becomes our great, impetus to be somebody, in life. And I think that is the story that I belong to.
Thank you. Beautifully shared. Thank you so much. Parvati, you're trying to make a mark in a rather interesting industry. showbiz, and of course, you've had your own backstory. Tell us more.
Thank you so much for having me here. I hail from Kerala and I work in the film industry. I've been an actor for 13 years now. Started really young. I was 17 when I started. It has been a career which was driven with this intention of telling stories and wanting to learn to empathize better with people, and in that way the fact that this job is anthropological in nature, you learn each other, you learn humanity, you learn about how to be a better person with maybe lesser judgments and more understanding is what drives me still as an actor. However, it has also thrown me this inquisitiveness and observation that needs to be there as an actor for me, has also driven me to observe, and you can't unsee what you've seen once, the injustice around or inequality. And then it has been a quest to sort of investigate that, because we only fear what we don't understand, and I don't like to be scared. So I want to take that away, so I keep investigating. That's what I do.
There you are, the fearless you. Give it up for
Trying.
her,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen. Divya, when I was reading your profile earlier, so in my line of work, we, almost every woman I meet, I think I've spoken about 100,000 women 101, and if there was one line I can sum it all, it translates to "मैं कुछ करना चाहती हूँ." What did you want to do? What was it that you wanted to do when you started out, and how has journey taken you along?
When I started out,
Your own career and your own life journey.
I never wanted to be an actress. I never wanted to be a politician. I never thought that I would one day be, handling social media for the Congress Party. I think the one thing that I've done in life is to sort of go with the flow, and I think that's what, that's where life has got me today.
Beautiful. Thank you. I think this is one of the nicest ways to be. It takes me back to Sushmita's "I am." Go with the flow. I have this question. All of you are career leaders. Your careers have transitioned. Your life has transitioned. And we live in interesting times. 377, Adultery Act. Obviously, Me Too. I think there's a lot going on in context of women. I think for the first time, mainstream media and our conversations are getting so much of attention, But from your individual perspectives, take us through how has this gender lens changed over a period of time? Like, as women leaders, as change makers in your own field, not necessarily just gender change makers, as change makers, how do you feel about standing where we are today? Going back to what Renu said, it's her daughter. How do you feel as a change maker standing where we stand today? And what's your hope from tomorrow? Atishi, will go with you first.
I think one of the things that over the years, as I've seen more of this country, more of this city, I think one of the things that, as I was saying earlier, I've realized is how privileged we are. I think what would have bothered me as a woman growing up in this city was the fact that maybe I couldn't step out of my home that easily after 8 p.m. in the evening. The fact that, as was mentioned earlier, my father would probably have to pick me up from different places where I would have to go for extracurricular activities after school. But I think that the more you interact with the real world, the more you realize that these are, this is almost like these are first world problems. And I've been working with Delhi government schools now for more than 3 years. And the kind of situations that a lot of the young girls in this city encounter, and therefore I'm sure a lot of young girls across the country encounter. One day I was in a government school, and anyone who sends their children now to government schools usually does it out of no other choice, because they feel that they can't afford a good private school education. And I was speaking to some of the girls in the school, and this was a school assembly, and I asked some of them that how many of you have brothers who study in private schools? And I think there would have been about 400 girls in the school assembly. And more than 350 of them raised their hands and said, my brothers study in a private school. And so these are girls whom the parents have already decided that they have no future. They've already decided that they can send their children, their daughters, to places where education doesn't really matter. And another instance happened when there's a lot of problem in our education system. There's something called the no detention policy, where students keep passing year on year till they reach class 9. And so in class 9 in schools all over the country, you have a lot of children who fail their exams. And last year, some girls came to meet us who had failed the class 9 exam twice or thrice. And they said कि मैम हमारे लिए कोई नई पॉलिसी लेके आ जाइए जिससे हम फिर से स्कूल में एडमिशन ले सकते हैं. अगर हमें स्कूल में एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगा तो हमारे माता पिता हमारी शादी कर देंगे. And these are children, these are girls who are studying in the national capital. We are not here talking of Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, that parts of the country that we consider backward. Girls still don't, there are many girls who still work at home. There are many girls who cook food for their family. There are many girls in Delhi who do not go to school because they have to look after their younger siblings. And I think what has really changed for me over the years is an understanding that those of us who can sit in Hayat Regency and have this conversation are probably far, far, far more privileged than we realize. And maybe we need to look around the world a little more.
And you are hacking the system. रंजीत जी, आपकी क्या उम्मीद है आज से और कल से?
जैसा आपने बोला अभी, इसमें दो चीज़ें हैं मेरे ख्याल से. अगर हम ये कहते हैं कि दैट्स ट्रू कि लड़कों के कंपेयर में हम लड़कियों को, अगर आप पूरा देश का डाटा देखेंगे तो 8 के बाद बच्चियां, अगर रूरल एरियाज़ की आप बात करें तो अगर 5 किलोमीटर में घर है, स्कूल है उसका, तो उसको स्कूल छोड़ना पड़ता है क्योंकि दूर है, आपको वो इन्वायरमेंट नहीं मिल रहा है, आपको वो सिक्योरिटी नहीं मिल रही है. लेकिन अब कंपेयर करोगे जब हमारा टाइम था और अब का टाइम है तो बहुत सारी चेंजेस आ रही हैं. अब पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि रूरल एरिया के भी इवन कि नहीं हमारी बच्चियां पढ़ें जाएं, और वहाँ पे फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम अब ज़्यादा आ रही है कि जिनके पास ज़मीन है, लैंड है, वो बेच के इवन उनको आउट ऑफ स्टेट भी भेजना पड़ रहा है तो वो भेज रहे हैं. मैं रेणु खट्टर जी की बात से बहुत इंस्पायर हुई. उन्होंने कहा कि फरुखाबाद, मेरी सिस्टर इन लॉ भी डॉक्टर है, वहीं से अब लखनऊ में है, तो बहुत इंस्पायर हुई मैं. और जो आप इंग्लिश की बात कर रहे थे, मैं ज़रूर एक बात उसमें जोड़ना चाहूँगी कि बड़ी बारी मुझे भी लगता है कि मुझे भी यू शुड स्पीक इंग्लिश. पर मैं ज़रूर बताऊँगी कि मैंने 4-5 टूर किए फॉरेन के, ऑफिशियल टूर थे जब मैं 2004 में मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट थी. फॉरेन में उनको चाहिए, ज़रूरत है कि वो अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर सकते तो इसलिए हमें इंग्लिश बोलनी है. और मुझे लगता है कि वहाँ पर अगर हमारी कोई ग्रामर की गलती होती है तो वो उनका फोकस ग्रामर पे नहीं होता है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे होता है कि हम क्या बोल रहे हैं. लेकिन हमारे इंडिया में मुझे बहुत एक इरिटेशन होती है, और इरिटेशन की वजह से मैंने कहा नहीं मैं तो हिंदी बोलूँगी, क्योंकि यहाँ आई एम ए मेंबर ऑफ ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज, मेंबर भी हूँ उसकी. और जब भी हम बात करते हैं इन इंडिया, सिर्फ 2.5% लोग इंग्लिश बोलते हैं, इंग्लिश समझते हैं. लेकिन 97.5% लोगों के लिए हम बात आज किसके लिए कर रहे हैं? वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट. और वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट सबसे ज़्यादा कहाँ चाहिए? उन एरियाज़ में जो इंग्लिश समझते ही नहीं. तो मुझे लगता है एटलीस्ट जब हम घर में बात कर रहे हैं तो हम लोग बार बार कहते हैं कि जब हमारी मीटिंग हो रही होती है तो मैंने कहा पहले तो हम ये डिसाइड कर ले कि जब हम 5-7 लोग बात कर रहे होते हैं तो कुछ लोग बहुत नॉलेजेबल होते हैं, इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, इसलिए नहीं बोल रहे होते अरे यार ये दोनों तो इंग्लिश में बात कर रहे हैं. तो मुझे लगता है ये ह्यूमिलिएट करना, ये मेरे ख्याल से अपनी लैंग्वेज के प्रति हमारे देश में ही है. पूरे वर्ल्ड में सिर्फ 5 कंट्री इंग्लिश बोलती हैं, बाकी सब अपनी अपनी लैंग्वेज बोलती हैं. मैं फ्रांस गई, इवन दे न्यू इंग्लिश, आई डोंट नो इंग्लिश, आई डोंट नो इंग्लिश. मुझे एड्रेस का वो मेन्यू लेके जाना पड़ा होटल का कि आई वांट टू गो दिस प्लेस. तो मुझे लगता है कि सबसे पहले बी यू की थोड़ा खुल के बात करो यार. हम बहुत वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया नीड्स की एक कहते हैं ना, क्या बोलते हैं, नहीं एक वर्ड है इंग्लिश का, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एलिगेंट है, और एलिट सोसाइटी। मुझे लगता है अगर हम जिनकी बात कर रहे हैं उनके लिए हमें उनसे पहले निकलना पड़ेगा। उनका कॉन्फिडेंस जगाने के लिए हमें उनकी लैंग्वेज में बात करनी पड़ेगी। मैं शादी से पहले मुझे हिंदी और इंग्लिश और पंजाबी आती थी। अब मैं बिहार में जाके आई फॉरगेट पंजाबी, हिंदी, मैथिली बोलती हूँ और मुझे अच्छा लगता है। तो मुझे लगता है एटलीस्ट घर में, और मुझे भी एजिटेशन है, यहाँ मैं बोलूँगी तो मुझे अजीब लगेगा, यार कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया तो। इवन इन पार्लियामेंट कोई इंग्लिश में बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा है, नाम नहीं लूँगी, यार उसको ये वर्ड बोलना नहीं आया, लेकिन यही अगर हिंदी में उसने वर्ड खराब बोल दिया, मुझे हिंदी नहीं आती है, तो वी प्राउड ऑफ दैट। आई वॉज शॉक्ड, मैंने कहा ये क्या हो रहा है। देन आई डिसाइड कि मैं हिंदी, इंडिया में तो इंग्लिश बोलनी ही नहीं।
बहुत बढ़िया, थैंक यू सो मच। वानी जी।
Well, I think one very important work, something that I learned a lot from is the role of the performing arts in education. When I started working in the theatre and education company with Barry John, one of the big challenges was to get young people to learn. And I think one of the big achievements also of the National School of Drama over the years, where I was connected to, was to make learning fun. अगर मज़ा आएगा, अगर मनोरंजन होगा, if you're doing a play, you're writing a play, you're also connecting it to the curriculum, I think the fun part of learning becomes as important as learning itself. And I think increasingly also the role of cinema. Cinema is absolutely the second or the third religion in the country. It's a great opinion-making tool, and I think these are exciting times as far as cinema is concerned. Also, the portrayal of women. When was the last time you had a film about menstrual hygiene? When was the last time you actually saw a film about body shaming? So these are changing times, the narratives are changing very fast. You can concentrate on the Me Too, but within the Me Too, there are those nuanced lines of looking at how women are being portrayed. That is the revolution which is happening. Indian cinema is growing. It's one of the largest film producing nations of the world. Yeah, I do sit on the popularly unpopular censor board of India. I'm the junior most veteran. Smriti ji is sitting right here. I wanted to leave, she didn't let me go. But well, it has made me learn a lot about what cinema in the country is. And within the prowess of producing films, more than 18,000 films are produced in the country in the year. Parvati is sitting right here. Some of the best cinema is also coming from the language in which she acts in. Yeah. So I think we must look at also the role of the performing arts, also how cinema can be a fantastic opinion-making tool and also empowering tool as far as portrayal of women and education is concerned.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Beautifully said. Can we please have a round of applause for her? Taking from what she said, the most brilliant cinema comes from your state, from the industry you worked in. But what's the change that you have witnessed through this course of 13, 14 years that you've been in it?
मैं पहले माफ़ी मांगना चाहूँगी कि मुझे अंग्रेज़ी थोड़ी इजीली आ जाएगी, तो टाइम क्रंच है, लेकिन मैं बहुत इम्प्रेस्ड हूँ। आपने ये याद दिला दिया कि मैं जब केरल में जाती हूँ, वहाँ पे भी यही था। मेरे गुरु ने मुझसे ये बताया था, मैंने जब स्टार्टिंग में करियर के स्टार्टिंग में, कि मैं जो कुछ भी कहना चाहती हूँ, जो कुछ भी बहुत इम्पैशन्ड होकर बात करना चाहती हूँ, पूरी अंग्रेज़ी में आ रही थी। और मैंने बोला कि मुझे मलयालम आती नहीं है। So it's like, हाँ, तुम इंग्लिश मीडियम में गई हो, तो you have to make the effort to learn your own native language, to communicate to those who will never understand it, or at least for a long time. So thank you so much for reminding me. Getting back to English, like Vani ma'am just said, it's important. Cinema is a great tool of change. Cinema, art forms, any art form is a great tool of influence. And I think Indian cinema is just completely gone around the world, as it's a global presence that we have. And I don't say that Malayalam cinema makes the best. We have a lot of regional content which has been celebrated, which we have seen especially this year. We have Village Rockstar going to the Oscars, and it's incredible to see such powerful content being made. But it's really, we have to speed up, like you mentioned. We have to speed up the pace in which the content changes. Also acknowledge cinema as a workplace. It's time to, because there is so much of, we look up to these stars, these contents. We go into a theater, we sit there for 2 hours, we our subconscious just starts believing what we are seeing there. We empathize and we feel all these feelings. It's important that we also set an example as a workplace where there is gender inclusiveness and less cases of harassment. And that's what I foresee for my workplace. So I can go ahead and have tons of questions with other industries and politics and everything, but I'm still a student
Change
there.
begins with you.
Yes, but I have to do housekeeping in my own workplace
Beautiful.
first.
Very well
I
said.
think that's
Thank
what I
you.
hope to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Divya, we're going to let you have the last word. I think we're almost out of time. Take us through. You have a very difficult job, given it's 2018, and we all live on social media 24/7. What are your learnings as you sort of navigate the world around you?
Well, my job is very interesting as well and challenging. Part of my team is also here, and I'm sure they'll vouch for what I'm saying. We have a huge task ahead of us in terms of how to counter fake news. So that's one thing. Of course, there's a lot of trolling as well, and we take it in our stride. And because the team comprises mostly of women, I think we bring a different perspective to the workplace and how we deal with the challenges that we face every day. I love what I do, no complaints. Of course, social media reflects the kind of society we live in, and I think there's the scope for change. And I think if we come up with better laws, I think social media will get better as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think one thing is very common, irrespective of who we are and where we are headed. I think change makers are passionate people, and your passion comes right through. May you lead with more passion, more courage, more bravery, more fearlessness, and continue to inspire in each of your lines of work. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you so much.